Good afternoon, it's Sunday 29 March 2020 and welcome to Namibia Media Holdings 16th update since the coronavirus has been confirmed in Namibia. And first of all, you will see I am alone, so we're also trying in that way to practice even more social distancing. Today with me is Matthias Ricardo doing the mixing, and he's being assisted on the technical side by Natalie van Wyk. Short while ago, we had some nice rain here in Erongo in Windhoek. I also heard it's raining in other parts of Windhoek, so at least that helps one being a bit more positive. Sorry for being delayed. The show should have started at 1 already, but we really had a lot of content to put together today and also trying to get the latest. We'll update you again on some important lockdown measures and exactly what to do and what not to do. We'll be showing you scenes from Windhoek, also the roadblocks around Windhoek, some chaos with transport, and we have some footage coming also from the Erongo region. We're going to Skype with our reporter Otis Fink in Walvis Bay. Very important, we're also going to share some tips how to keep your children busy during the lockdown, and at the end, after sharing some positive images we have received, we are going to again play the full interview that was recorded on Wednesday already with economist Rowland Brown, and unfortunately Thursday we couldn't play you the entire interview. That is what's coming up. Initially yesterday, a lot of chaos in terms of administration and bureaucracy. On the other hand, a lot of individuals in the lockdown areas did play their part. Windhoek is more quiet than I've probably seen it in my entire life. Just to update you then, first of all, on the testing data for Namibia as we understand it to be today. 3 additional confirmed cases now, so that is up from 8 to 11. And then unfortunately the rest of our data in terms of negative results confirmed, 34, and also pending is still from Friday, so we were not able to get new information on that before this show. Yesterday we did show you some slides on important lockdown measures, and today we're going to look at some of the important measures we did not share visually and in writing with you yesterday. And we're going to start out with traveling and public transport. Important, ensure social distancing, travel alone if possible. Also very important, even if it's not written there. Only travel for essential and emergency purposes. Now, if it's a 4-seater, maximum 3 persons, 1 driver in front and 2 behind, with the proper distance between them. If it's a 7-seater, maximum 4, and then 10-seaters and larger buses, for example, only half the capacity is allowed, and you must keep the space. And also then on a bicycle and a motorcycle, you're not allowed to give someone a lift if that is your means of transport. Then some more important measures. Production and transport will only be allowed for essential services and supporting essential services. Please use e-banking if at all possible. Apply beforehand for emergency travel, and then the penalty for in any way whatsoever not following any lockdown rules. Initially Friday they said $5,000 spot fine, but now it has been lowered to 2,000, or they can actually arrest you. We understand there has already been some arrests, and we'll be reporting on that tomorrow. Social and economic assistance, pensions and grants will be paid, but it's important that strict social distancing must be followed at pay points. Only essential manufacturing and construction will be allowed, and in terms of mining, minimum work and care and maintenance And then further support measures for people will be announced during next week. It was stated by the new Minister of Finance, Mr. Ipumbu Shimi. Then also in terms of screening and testing, temperature screening at all roadblocks, only people showing symptoms of COVID-19 will be tested. And then in terms of essential services travel, you may need a permit if it's required, or a detailed original letter signed by your employer. Now, a bit earlier even, we understand they're still working on informing people what are the places you must apply for a permit act. So we haven't received that information, and we will share it as soon as possible. Also remember, only go out if you really have to. We're skipping to the schools lockdown, also extended to 17 April now. And then you can get permission for travel, for critical medical treatment, for a funeral of close family, to assist ill or distressed family members, and then you will have to present your documents to authorized officials at your closest travel points. Those authorized officials will, of course, in most cases be police officers or immigration officials. But just to repeat again, only go out and travel when you really have to. So one person in the household can go out, for example, to buy food and water and other essentials. You can go out if you have to visit the bank. If you must attend court, you can as well go out. But please, everyone must try to limit their going out of their homes and travel to the absolute essential and emergency. Coming up, I'm just going to summarize the footage we're about to look at. We'll show you some scenes of the locking down of Shebeens here in Windhoek on Friday night, as well as a scene yesterday when police still had to officiate in terms of the prohibited sale of alcohol. We'll show you some scenes from the shops and the streets here in Windhoek, also some scenes from the roadblocks yesterday. Of course, also it was pointed out that the whole issue yesterday with certain truck drivers being told they will be quarantined was due to misinformation and miscommunication. And then also a scene here in Windhoek at the informal settlements. Huge lines of people showing up to buy tokens to be able to buy water. So we really hope that all water issues around the country is being sorted out by municipalities as soon as possible. And I quickly also want to just credit all the journalists who contributed to the next insert you're going to see. Justicia Shipena, Philippus Usiku, also Tanya Bowser, Gonet Lage, Jemima Bekes, Yolanda Nel, Irene Marie van der Walt from the coast, Richard Botha, Marisol Stoffberg, Octavia Tibes, and some of these clips were provided by members of the public. Let's have a look.
Hallo bos.
Dis Kalahari. What is selling beer? They want the other beer inside the house.
listen here. Listen here. I found people as I entered the street. I found people sitting there and drinking. There's also one full alcohol standing there. Do you understand? And I saw people running into this house from there when they see the police car. I would advise for you now to go and sleep. You get in the houses. Go and sleep. You cannot be on the street this time drinking in the street.
Let me
We are very sorry, officer. We are very sorry.
Excel. This is crazy, guys. It's not a joke out here. I don't understand why, under the circumstances, people would still want to come out in numbers to town. Like, it's crazy. It's crazy. People don't understand that them being at home is more safer for them than being out here.
So today we visited the roadblock just outside of Rehoboth on the way to Kolkrand to see what the process is like here, what's traffic, and to see if there are any issues or holdups. But since our arrival here, we've only seen efficient movement. Trucks have been moving through and passing without any problems. They have a screening site on site. So once upon arrival and you get out of your vehicle, your hands are sanitized, then you get a screening process. So during that process, they check your temperature, and then also a questionnaire is the ministry's also adapted that questionnaire a bit to include certain symptoms like vomiting and diarrhea, which some patients have presented. So they always adapt and monitor and see what is happening. If you should present any symptoms, the doctor on Rehoboth, who is on standby, and then they will consult with him to see should a patient then travel to Rehoboth for any medical attention. As you can see, we have our ambulances located on site as well. So this is an NDF ambulance that will then transport the individual to Rehoboth, where they will then undergo further testing and screening. So we have spoken to the ministry, and this is a very efficient site. Everything is moving as they intend. So just a few delays this morning delayed some of the trucks moving, but there is no issues at this site whatsoever. Everyone is friendly and accommodating, and everything is moving sufficiently.
I'm Captain Swarboy, Commander in charge at the checkpoint at Avasap, 25 kilos south of Rehoboth. We are here to check everyone that is coming in and out. We are here to stop cars, send them back those who are not having essential goods. We are here to try to minimize, if not eliminate, the virus, because it's affecting our nation. It's affecting our economy, and this was the guidelines given by, or the orders given by the president, that we must have a checkpoint here in order to check all the cars that is coming in, all the cars that is going out, and also our local members or local communities or the local towns, especially Rehoboth, Windhoek or Ganja, that they must not move around because of the virus, because the virus is spreading, and we want to minimize or destroy or eliminate this virus. So we are just here, all the cars that is coming here, no car is allowed, especially local cars. Everyone must just stay at home. But we are having cars, trucks that is coming through, those who are only carrying essential goods, like fruit and vegetables, like meat, like foodstuffs. So we are allowing them, but they are also being quarantined. Now our main aim here is to make sure that no one goes in, no one goes out. Nog iets?
Lockdown in Windhoek, Namibia, but see the crowd that came out in search of water. They're not asking for food, all they are saying is they want water because where they are from the informal settlement, they do not have water. That's why they're here. Let me just see if I can get some more to talk. Mama, why are you here?
Because of water.
Huh?
Because of water.
Okay. So who is there water inside here or?
Yes.
Okay. So Mama, why are you here? Why are you here? Why are you here? Why you come here?
We want to recharge the car. We want to recharge the car.
Go for water. Okay. So you can see they're all here for water. And can you imagine? I believe that they are all protected. We have been praying. You see, the police are doing their job.
A lot of businesses are doing their best, but also inform businesses where you visit the shop if they are not implementing social distancing. And if you are going to the shop, also demand from other shoppers that we stick to the rules. Up next is some footage from the Erongo region. This was provided by Adolf Kaure. That is reports from yesterday as well as today in Swakopmund. Esther Kamati contributed a young person speaking from Walvis Bay. And then at the end you'll see footage by Leandria Low at the scene where a isolation hospital is being constructed. The first clip was taken yesterday, the other one earlier today, and as far as she is informing us, apparently the first containers there to build this isolation unit will either start arriving tomorrow or Tuesday at the latest. Straight after that, I'm also going to speak to Otis Fink via Skype.
Well, the COVID-19 partial lockdown in the Erongo region as well as the Commerce region officially kicked off today. That is Saturday at midnight. And as you can see in the DRC informal settlement here in Swakopmund, I have seen some people wearing gloves and masks and so on, but it seems like the other precautionary measure, that is social distancing, has really not been followed. As you can see at this Kapana stand in the DRC informal settlement, people are not really standing 1 meter apart from one another, and it could really be a concern if the virus does spread, and it could really spread fast if these people do not adhere to the precautionary measures as announced by the head of state, His Excellency Dr. Hage Geingob. Other than that, in DRC, people are going on with their daily lives as usual, walking around, kids are playing in the streets, and the shebeens are open, cabanas are open, people are selling, vendors are selling their things, and it's just a concern that people are not really adhering to the social distance precautionary measure as has been advised.
As we all know that we are in the lockdown period here in Walvis Bay, I would like to urge the youth of Walvis Bay to remain in their homes. Please do not be ignorant, but let us be responsible citizens. Let us go out if it's really necessary. If not, let us stay indoors. I would also like to encourage you all to maintain hygiene and sanitation. If you got your mask, put on your mask, sanitize your hands. If you cough, preferably cough on your elbow. Please also let us use this time to study. It's very important for those of us who are in school. Let us use this time for self-development, personal development, look at different issues in our life that we can adjust after this time that we are in currently. I would like to urge everyone, let us not fear, let us not panic, but let us remain within the guidelines, and this will be over as soon as possible. I am very, very positive that we shall be victorious. Keep blessed. God bless you all.
We're currently in the second day of the partial lockdown here in the Erongo region, and here in Mondesa, at a very popular spot for Kapana in the single quarters, you can see it is absolutely quiet. It's dead silent, and one may wonder how these vendors have been affected by some of these precautionary measures for the COVID-19 pandemic, which has shocked the world so far. So absolutely no one here at the Kapana stands in the single quarters in Mondesa. So business very slow, very quiet, and people are in lockdown. People are at home. They're obeying the precautionary measures, but it also begs the question to where are they getting their income, and where are they going to get their income for the next 3 weeks or so. Day 2 of the partial lockdown in the Erongo region, and this is probably one of the busiest shopping complexes that we have in Swakopmund. As you can see, not a lot of people. People are at home in lockdown, even though it's not yet 6 o'clock. People have opted, or residents of Swakopmund have opted to stay at home. And it has also been a precautionary measure that only one person per family is allowed to go to a shop, and it's usually only for essential important reason like food, medication, and so on. People are really adhering to these regulations that have been put in place, and as we know, Namibia is in a state of emergency, so I don't really see a lot of people gallivanting around in town or loitering. It's pretty quiet. Only a handful of number of cars, vehicles here in the park of the partial lockdown here in the Erongo region, but in particular Swakopmund. And I'm here at the Swakopmund taxi rank, and as you can see, it is very silent. Not a single taxi in sight, as people are obeying the precautionary measures that have been put in place. That is to prevent and to mitigate this COVID-19 pandemic. So taxis, usually this place is full of taxis from 6 a.m. Onwards, traveling to Walfish Bay, Arandas, Usakos, Karibab. And as you know, the movement of people is permitted within the region as long as there are only 4 people, as long as there are only 3 people in a car at the same time. That is a 5-seater car, and 4 people in a 7-seater. But it seems that really business has been hampered, and people rather maybe turn their taxis into transport for within the town. So yeah, that is the current scenes here at the Swakopmund taxi rank. The traffic officers are working hard here to ensure that all the measures are being taken into implementation. That is, the measures to further prevent and the precautionary measures to further mitigate the COVID-19 pandemic here in the Erongo region. As you know, the region has been put under partial lockdown as announced by the head of state, the President, Dr. Hage Geingob. And as you can see, most of the people that are coming from Swakopmund are being asked exactly where they're going to, or where they're coming from and where they're going to, and there is to be no movement at all past the region of Erongo. So these people are being asked with a reason where they're going, because they're not supposed to travel outside the Erongo region, supposed to stay within the Erongo region.
The 150-bed isolation ward construction just behind Walvis Bay State Hospital.
We are crossing via Skype to Walvis Bay, where Otis Fink is standing by to report on the lockdown situation in the Erongo region. Good afternoon, Otis.
Good day, Danny. How are you?
We are good in Windhoek. Otis, someone on our WhatsApp line yesterday morning said it seems that lockdown is not really happening in Erongo. Has the situation sunk in the meantime?
Yes, definitely, Danny. The lockdown started during month-end period. Everybody had money, so people flooded the shops. People were partying as it was month-end. The situation has however changed. I'm a bit skeptical because it's Sunday. I went on a patrol with the Special Field Forces yesterday, and then yes, I think it's quite the people were less present.
We had a bit of chaos in terms of transport yesterday in Khomas region. Did you experience similar situation at roadblocks set up in Erongo region?
I spoke to a senior traffic officer, Mr. Jacobs, and he said the situation was quite normal at roadblocks. There was still a lot of drivers not adhering to the lockdown measures, driving with more than 4 or 5 passengers. But yes, in general, less accidents on the street since there are now less vehicles on the roads, he also told me.
Otis, one final question. We see all over that social distancing is something that Namibians, I think, and also people all over the world find very difficult to comply with.
Yes, Danny. Not only social distancing, physical distancing is also a problem. I went driving this morning. People are still queuing at Shop for Value in Koosopmund, Boerman and Brock supermarket in Narwhal and Swakopmund. The situation at the mall were quite under control, you know, and then some of the businesses even introduced temperature screening. And another one have now started a WhatsApp service where customers can order their goods and they then go and deliver. But as you said, social distancing and physical distancing problematic here in the region.
Thank you very much, Otis, and all the best there for him. That is Otis Fink speaking from Walvis Bay. We are bringing you a bit of a longer show today because we also deem it very important to share the situation as it was yesterday, the Saturday, first day of lockdown, and also today as far as we know circumstances. A question from Sophia Teki, one of our viewers, and she also asking where can people get permits if they are involved with essential services and have to travel. Like we said previously, we're still awaiting that details from government, and we will share it as soon as we have it. Up next, some tip how to keep the kids busy during lockdown. Now this section of the program will be a daily insert as from today, and we have Esther Kamati speaking to Shanae Botha.
Hello everyone, and thank you for joining us. Today we are broadcasting on the COVID-19 show, and I'm not alone in studio. My name is Esther Kamati and I'll be your host for now. And in studio I'm joined by Sharnay Buerta. How are you, Sharnay?
Good, and you, Esther?
I'm very well. So Sharnay is a child development enthusiast. She has recently been part of the team that brought out the junior supplement. So if you pay attention and follow the different supplements that Namibia Media Holdings has, you would have seen the junior supplement, which she was part of the team of. But of course today she's in studio giving us a few tips for the parents at home, because now we have these children, these human beings that are just there at home for the next 21 days without any activity, and the parents might not know what to do. So firstly, Sharnay, tell us, what is your background with children and child development, and then take us through what it is that we can expect on our social media platforms as of next week.
Okay, so I'm a kinderkineticist. So I did my honors in kinderkinetics, which is the gross motor movement of children. So we specialize in helping kids be active, helping them develop optimally in their gross motor activities. And then I also completed my master's in child development last year.
Okay.
And what parents can expect for the next, few days is we are posting videos for parents, demonstrational videos for parents on our COVID website on how to keep the kids active and busy at home, because I'm sure parents are running out of ideas on how to keep the kids active, and it's so important for kids not to only be in front of the TV the whole day, but keep moving, being active and still developing their skills. So the activities we're going to do are going to be both physically active, and each day has a different focus, but also helping with their mental development as well.
Okay, that's a really good point, because now that I feel like these days we don't really know how to engage children to that level, because of course we don't spend that much time with them. They're normally with their teachers. So now they're here with us and we're just like, what do we do now? So to avoid children, of course, just becoming couch potatoes, it's necessary to keep them active. But do you have any other tips for parents when it comes to caring for their children, and like what type of activities to engage them in?
Yes, so the videos we'll be posting will give them a good idea on how to keep the kids active in different ways, and I'm sure from that parents can also make up their own ideas. But what's important is to remember to keep the kids busy, and also to plan ahead for it. But a nice practical way also for parents to keep the kids busy while they are at home is just to help around the house as well, with doing a laundry. Make it a game for the kids. If it's packing away the clothes, make it a game. If it's moving from their room to the kitchen, set up an obstacle course for the kids to do while they're there, and also get them outside. If it's possible for you to have an outside area, get them outside and get them moving there, just so that the kids aren't forced to sit in front of the TV, like you said, become couch potatoes for the next 21 days, and when they get back to school it's going to be a struggle for them.
Okay. Now quickly tell us, Sharnay, like how important is it for children to spend some time with their parents, because this is the ideal time, because most of the time parents don't really have time to spend with their kids, but now many parents are working from home. So how important is it that parents not only set up activities to keep the children busy and out of their hair, but for them to actually spend some time with the children?
Yes, it's very important. Like with everything, there's always a silver lining. And with this, parents are really, they get this blessing where they can spend more time with their kids. And I really want to encourage parents at home to now not only let the kids be busy, but do the activities with them. Encourage them, do it with them. And as a family, you can engage more and spend more time together now and be active together as a family.
Definitely. So of course, other than the videos which will be posted on the MyZone Facebook page as of Monday, there is also something exciting that's coming through in the newspapers. You want to tell us a bit about that?
Yes, so we want to give parents a few tools to also use at home. So each day will have a different focus. So Monday will be on coordination, and then there is a practical way on how to use things at home to do the activities, because we know parents can't really access the shops right now. So we want to use things that are available at home. So in the newspaper, it will give you some tools to use, some ideas to use, and once you completed that part of the activity, you can watch our video on how to use the tools.
Oh, so it's like a manual.
It's a manual, and then the video just gives a few different ideas on how to use that.
Okay, so I see you have everything figured all out. But of course, if you have any questions, you're more than welcome to engage us on our social media platforms. Shanae, any last words, a word of encouragement to the parents when it comes to dealing with children, because they can be a bit of a headache?
I think just enjoy this time with your children. It's a blessing now to be with family and to get more time with family, as our lives are so busy from day to day. So really enjoy the time with the kids, and just spend more time with them in terms of doing the activities with them. Don't only force the children to move, but lead by example.
Of course.
Yes.
All right, thank you so much,
Thank
Sharnae.
you.
And of course, keep it locked to our social media platforms, all of them. And do not forget to follow the link for more information. Do you want to remind us what that link is?
It's www.covid19-nam.com/kids.
All right, and until next time, of course, it is Esther Kamati, your host.
Positive vibes once again, and we are displaying our WhatsApp number. Of course, you can use this to send us questions, information, video clips, photographs. Tell us how you are doing in lockdown. What are you doing to keep yourself busy? If you are working from home, also use our WhatsApp number to show us how you are working from home. Now, positive vibes today. First of all, we show you a picture by Elise van Wyk. This is a beautiful succulent there in her garden that she photographed. Also a beautiful picture of a dragonfly received from Michelle van Wyk. Yes, microphotography, a very good close-up shot there. Another picture, this is close to the Kwandu River in Zambezi region, and this was shared by Kabous Grunschloss. So use our WhatsApp number, send us some positive images. Up next, we're going to play you a short bit of a video, and it's also about sharing humor. This little girl is 6 years old, and her name is Tiana Brink, and this is her view of lockdown.
Die klokken mag je uitkomen. Die middelpalatijn mag je trekken. En ons mag je en die zwembad te gaan zijn. Ons mag je ook namens kijken.
Mag ons uit die huis uit?
En ons mag je bruin nemen. Ons mag je vissen eten. Mag je bakken nemen. Niet vlees eten. Niet macaroni eten.
Maar wat mag ons eet?
Nie groente eet nie. Maar ons mag karamelle eet en ons mag pita eet en ons mag pasta en ons mag tomato noodles eet.
Let's help to each other to stay positive. We're almost at the end of today's show. From next week, we will have a rotating system with other presenters also presenting this important update. From my side, once again, keep safe, follow the 4 basic hygiene tips, don't spread COVID-19 or any other virus, and more importantly also, don't spread false information or fake news. We are going to play out with economist Rowland Brown's insights into how a lockdown will impact our economy.
The lockdown in Khomas and Erongo is imminent, and people are extremely concerned and worried not only about their own personal issues and health, but also about what it can do to the economy. We're talking to Rowland Brown. He's the director of Ceres Capital, and he is also with the Economic Association of Namibia. Rowland, are we taking this seriously enough? And are there things that we can do to mitigate the impact?
Yeah, so I think that that's exactly the message that we need to convey at the moment. Is it doesn't strike me that we are taking the economic side of it seriously enough. We are taking the health side very seriously. We're reacting, I think, more proactively than most other countries, and some, me included, perhaps would argue that we're being a little bit too preemptive on certain things. But on the economic side of things, I think that we're not taking this seriously enough. I think the quantum of the problem that we're dealing with is poorly understood, and I think that the quantum of the response required as a result is poorly understood.
In a nutshell and in layman's terms, summarize the possible impact that this will have.
Yeah, so as we go into lockdown, basically people that are not able to work from home and businesses that require their employees to be on site in order to generate revenue are going to come under a lot of pressure. With businesses not being able to produce or do whatever they're designed to do, such as construction companies, and yet still having to carry costs, we're going to see these businesses start to see a reduction in profits and probably become loss-making. And because we are now locking a country down with 7 cases, it's very clear that there are going to be a number of these events through the year. This isn't the first time, it's not going to be the last time that we have, or this is the first time, but it's not going to be the last time that we have such a lockdown. And so because of this, there's a very major risk of job losses in the primary and secondary industries particularly. So I mentioned construction, but also other areas like your manufacturing space, probably your mining companies, some of your agriculture companies, fishing companies, etc., that are simply not going to be able to produce the goods or services that they exist to produce, and yet will still have major expenses that they will have to deal with, one of which, and probably the largest for many of those entities, is employment or as employees. And so the implication of this is that if we continue through this, many of those primary and secondary sector entities particularly are going to start to lay off people. If you look at the situation that we're in now, many of the kind of shocks that we've felt in the tertiary industries over the last few years actually originated in the primary industries. And so this can become a major issue that filters through into much of the rest of the economy over the next year or two. Now, many of the other countries that have introduced these pretty aggressive measures to contain the spread of the virus, which is certainly the right thing to do if you have a real risk of a major outbreak. Many of the countries that have introduced these measures to contain those outbreaks, in fact, I think pretty much all of them, have also introduced massive monetary and fiscal stimulus packages in order to try and ensure that we don't have a situation where we see this massive rise in unemployment. And I mean, a good example of this is the US. The US is likely to now announce a roughly $6 trillion package. That's 30% of US GDP. And even then, they expect to see unemployment go from 4% to 30%. So the quantum of the response to this in the world is huge. And it appears, if you look at the pledges that were made yesterday at State House, for example, the quantum of the issue here is not being well understood. Because of the quantum of this problem, we need to think out of the box. We can't just think along normal fiscal rules. So we can't think, oh, revenue is slowing and therefore we can't increase expenditure. This is one of those years where you have to act outside of the box. These are very uncommon, and it requires an extreme degree of leadership from our economic ministries and similar to ensure that this doesn't become an absolutely major crisis that takes us literally decades to recover from. If you look at the risk around unemployment, we believe that if we have 5 or 6 of these events through the year where we go into lockdown, and we think that that's far from impossible, we will see an increase in unemployment of between 50 and 70%. So this is a very, very material issue. If you think about how that then reverberates into government finances, it means that personal income tax is going to come under severe pressure. VAT payments, purchasing VATable goods in the shops, is going to drop off a cliff, and company tax is going to fall off a cliff. These are major, major concerns, and one has to react very proactively to ensure that these concerns don't become reality. And it requires an abnormal fiscal and monetary stimulus package.
Thank you very much, Rowland. I hope the message gets through to the people making the decisions, and that they indeed do respond to it.